It's kind of spiritual right now. Yeah, Shalaki, yeah, this got people. We're just recording.
Okay, it's on class.
That's cool.
Let me know when you're ready.
Yeah,
Okay, I think yeah, some book always start over.
Cool. All right. Hey, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
First and foremost, we want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh. Double honors to our apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that do rule well through the Holy Spirit. We want to say peace, blessings, and salutations that are unto you elect, who are scattered throughout the four winds of this earth, fulfilling your lots in all truth and all sincerity. We're the Great Millstone Dallas branch, coming to you all with another class session. And Lord willing, this lesson here will be edifying unto the flock. And just before brothers got here and we actually hit the turned on the camera, we was just really just talking about how true Jake is, and if we leave it up to them and their ideas and what they teach, to stand it up to them, there will be no standard. The brother came over here and talked about that was at work, you said, bro?
Come on.
Yeah, he was at work talking to one of his co-workers, an older man with gray hairs, because we was talking about how you can't, just because you got gray hairs don't mean one is wise.
Exactly.
And the scriptures say wisdom is the gray hair to a man, so anybody can be wise. That's like in the gray hair, because you got Jake with all these grays, but they out of here. He was talking to a co-worker, and we pretty much talked about, why white people ain't in this planet, right? And he's like, why? Because their moon died. It's like, nigga, what? But again, case in point, you leave it up to Jake, you leave it up to people with that mindset, and we'll be in the wilderness for 40 more years. Reasons like that are why Jake was in the wilderness for so damn long. And it's important, and if somebody can hold Isaiah, the first chapter, the small remnant, it's important that the Lord set up this remnant here within these last days, because again, if the remnant wasn't here, that means the doctrine wouldn't be here. Right. If the doctrine's not here, then, chaos through, no hope. Somebody can hold up the show, I'll hold it, Ecclesiastes 4. But somebody can pull out that Isaiah, the first chapter about this show.
I got it. It's Isaiah 1, and I'll start at verse 7. It reads, "Your country is desolate, your cities are burned with fire, your land, strangers devour it in your presence."
And what verse you on?
This is verse 7 to point
Okay,
9.
gotcha.
"And it is desolate and overthrown by strangers. And the daughter of Zion is left as a cottage in a vineyard, as a lodge in a garden of cucumbers."
Yeah, what does that mean? You pretty much left to your ruin. And that's what we're talking about right now. Jake is completely left to their ruin. They don't want to see Yahushua. They don't want to know. You got a guy that'll bring up a breakdown like I was just explained just now, and that's one example out of many. You got a new doctrine floating around that America's the new Holy Land.
Right.
And you got Edomites, esoteric believers, New Agers, and also Yahites that all believe in this. They'll tell you America's the Holy Land, and then, again, it's a lot of different people that claim themselves to be believers of the Bible, and they all subscribe to that. It's like, damn, didn't you niggas just disagree 2 years ago?
But that shows you that the spirit of Yahushua isn't with them. Because
Right.
they understood prophecy, they would know that we don't go back into our land to the Lord puts us there.
That's it. Right. That's it. Right. How is this the Holy Land when we're here right now?
Come on, man.
Where's Babylon if that's the case? Where's Mystery Babylon? Because the Israelites will be in Mystery Babylon in the last days.
And they will be oppressed together in Mystery Babylon.
Exactly. So we gotta wait for a whole new captivity,
Come on.
a new random spot to come up, and the Israelites to go there. And these are Yahites that are saying this too. People that them Yah cats.
Well, they really just Baptist Christians with an Israelite twist.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really believe what we believe,
Right.
American Israelites.
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, you got it right.
It's Isaiah 1, I'm just jump to the point. Verse 9. "Except the Lord of hosts had left us a very small remnant, we should have been in Sodom, and we should have been like unto Gomorrah."
And Sodom and Gomorrah is a great example that was used, because not only was it nasty sexual deeds that was happening in Sodom and Gomorrah, but doctrines floating around, people threw. When you look at Babylon, that's exactly what was happening in Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah.
It's a lot more than just the sexual deviancy that was taking place, but the spirit that was there, the shit people was on, the doctrines that was floating around. And Yahushua said, you read it in Matthew the 24th chapter, he likened the last days to the days of even Noah. So all that stuff was floating around, including jacked up doctrines. And the Lord at least had Noah that was there as the elect, as the scriptures talks about, to preserve. So in the midst of chaos and people that are bugged out, the Lord is always going to keep that remnant that's there. And the remnant's always been here, which is why that verse says what it says. You know?
Nobody feared the Lord in Sodom.
Right.
Not only, like you talked about the sexual deviance, but the major problem was there was no fear of Yahweh Shem Shai. So people, there's no lines that they wouldn't cross. They didn't have a code.
Right.
There was nothing that anybody wouldn't do.
Right.
You know?
No more conversations.
Yeah, no standard. No standard at all. It was a do as thou wilt spirit that was there. And that spirit has always been permanent in this earth. You know, we're going to bring up some examples going into that. You know, but you leave it up to Jake, you leave it up to these people, and again, as it was stated earlier, it'll be a whole other 40 years within the wilderness. You know, leave it up to Jake. You got it, you want.
That was it on that one.
Okay, and I got this here in Ecclesiastes 4, in the first verse. It says, "So I returned and considered all the oppressions that are done under the sun." And when you read this, this is King Solomon, as he wrote this book of Ecclesiastes. He was an older age when he wrote this book. And the reason why he wrote this book, he was giving his overall overview on all reality in existence. And when you read it, it's pretty much like, you know, the common denominator was all his vanity. You know, it's all vanity at the end of the day. You know, he's been rich, he's been served the Lord, he's veered off and went off. You know, so at the end of the day, we need Yahweh Shai. And this is the only doctrine here that can save us and get us into a better place. Because you leave it up to Jake, you know, they're hopeless. You leave it up to them and they're going to continue to spiral down. And we've seen examples of that. You know, guys in the flesh that just continue to spiral down.
Solomon recognized that we're creatures made subject to vanity
That's
at its
right,
highest
that's right.
point. Because he said it was a vexation of spirit also.
That's
so
right.
where he was just ready to go back, you know,
Yeah.
to where he, you know,
Originated.
originated from. Exactly.
That's right. And that's in a sense, you know, especially back then, that's a righteous thought, because Jake is out here talking about the, you know, the Anunnaki and reptilians and, you know, all of that stuff. And it's like, damn, at least King Solomon had the understanding, like, man, we just need hope. You know what I'm saying? We need something better that's to come. Because you leave it up to Jake, Jake will be floating around talking, spewing nonsense for the end, you know, to the end of time.
Yeah. And it's dope because Solomon came to those realizations, which is how Shah obviously.
Right.
But he had everything.
Everything.
A rich man would never, on this side, the people that you look up to that got money in the bank, they got wealth, so to speak, they would never come to righteous conclusions.
No.
So
No.
that just lets you know we're different people.
Yeah.
You know,
That's right. And that's solid you said that, because he even gave conclusion of the matter. When you read it in Ecclesiastes.
the meaning of life.
Yeah, that's the meaning of life. To fear the Most High, keep His commandments. That's the whole duty of men. All right. Well, it's only so far you can go with trying to figure out what planet white folk came from, and the reason why they came is because their moon died. Like, where's the conclusion in that? Okay, so where's salvation afterwards? So, matter of fact, Bobby Gasol, please explain the rest of it, how it happened, and pretty much what he's like, he'll get there.
I mean,
Bobby Gasol, good boy,
Yeah,
please,
man.
brother.
Starting from the point when he said, we was talking because he's a Gadite. He don't know. He just knows he's a native or whatever, Indian. And he telling me, and he looking at me with these eyes all serious, talking about, you know, white people got here, right, son? I'm like, what you talking about? How? He like, cause they moon died and it got too cold, so they had to come here. And in my mind, I'm like, but they got a sun, so it don't. So he bugged out.
you gonna bug yourself up?
Yeah, so he bugged out. So I start laughing. I'm like, oh really? He like, yeah. And then the security guard walk up. And he like, I heard of that. And then he jump into the conversation. He jump into the conversation like, I heard of that. So they start going back and forth. So I'm about to exit out.
Nigga, no damn, we ain't heard of that, man. He's trying to be deep.
Yeah, so I'm about to exit out. I'm over here laughing, and so I'm like, I gotta get away from these dudes. And then the dude like, I'm like, so they got over here. So can we go to other planets? And he was like, you'll get there one day. Just keep believing. I'm like, so I just laughed. I was like, all right, let me move around.
That was the conclusion of this matter. One day, my brother, you gonna get to that
Yeah,
planet.
exactly. Man.
When the truth is, when the truth is, hey, you keep His commandments, fear the Most High. That's the conclusion of man. You're gonna get everything your heart can wish for. But
Right.
again, Jake don't got hope in that. There's no standard, and that leads me to the scripture here in Ecclesiastes. You know, at the water, bro.
Okay.
This is Ecclesiastes 4:1. It says, "So I returned and considered all the oppressions that are done under the sun," which is another reason why Jake think the way that they do too, because of oppression. You know, oppression makes the wise man mad.
Oh, yeah.
That doesn't just mean angry. That means like insane. You know what I'm saying? Oppression will drive somebody to the state of insanity. You know, and you see that when you look at the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American. Above that ass people that need help.
Oh, yeah.
You know? It says, "So I returned and considered all the oppressions that are done under the sun. And behold, the tears of such that were oppressed, and they had no comfort. And on the side of their oppressors there was power, but they had no comfort." So that was a comfortless idea. Just as an example, because there's many more that we could choose from. But that was a great example. That was a comfortless thought. Because if you had the comforter, then you know Yahushua is the hope, and eventually we're going to return to the land where we're going to be given all existence in reality under Yahushua, including the planets. You know, if you want to take it all the way there, you know, that the Lord has all that in store for us. You know, but you leave it up to a Jake in a barbershop, and it's going to continually be that argument about who's better between LeBron and Jordan. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, who was the best shooter of all time? Steph Curry. And what is the meaning of life, as the priest said earlier. You know, there's going to be a continual loop, and you'll have that whole conversation of all those topics within the barbershop session.
Right.
You know, they'll take it all the way there.
They ain't battling, man.
Yeah, that's
About
it.
Nothing that really matter at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
We said
nothing
that.
that's gonna change the course of humanity. You know, and just the quality of life, and put righteousness in the earth.
Well, we said last night at camp, we talked about, we said our people aren't a part of anything serious. We said that our enemy, the Edomites, the only time they take you serious is if you threaten their control.
Yep.
So if you're revealing the truth about what they're lying about, or if you threaten their infrastructure in some way.
Yep.
And the only people that are involved in something that threatens what Esau established are the men speaking the words of Yahweh Shah.
Yep.
So our people, like you mentioned the barbershop, they're not involved in anything serious or
Right.
threatening,
Yep.
you know, this devil's plots.
Yeah.
See?
It's always a what if, you know, per adventure. When you look at the mind of Jake, always a what if. It's never a conclusion.
Yeah, Jake living in imagination.
Mhm.
They're not trying to deal with reality. That's why they use things to escape reality.
That's right.
Drugs, sex, and whatever vices, because they want to escape the reality. Because out of that madness,
That's right.
that vexation in the spirit through that oppression,
Mhm.
you know,
That's right.
we all need mental healing. You know, we need therapy, but the real therapy is Yahweh Bashem Yahushua through the scriptures.
That's right.
You know, putting on the righteous garments. You know,
No, that's right.
I got something really quick. This is just pretty much a land back on what he's talking about. This is what Paul said. This is 1 Corinthians 3 and 18. The point is in 19. I'm getting that NLT. It says, "Stop deceiving yourselves. If you think you are wise by this world's standards, you need to become a fool to truly be wise."
And that's something that Jake don't want to do in this world. Like, you know, we have taken honor in becoming a fool.
Yeah.
Because we know what comes with it. There's a glory that's to come.
Jake
Right.
is ashamed to say they don't know.
Mhm.
Because Jake,
Yeah, right.
when they don't know
Right.
things, that instead of just saying, "Hey, I don't know," and then you can learn. Jake too proud to even do that.
Right.
They'll just stunt and act like they know certain shit.
Yeah.
Well, you
Yeah.
tell me, type shit, you know.
You see it on the highways all the time.
That's it.
You know, when Jake will act like they know something, and you be like, you tell they don't got the answer.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, well, you got the Bible in your hand. You read it.
Yeah.
Nigga, you have a point up.
Yeah.
We had a dude that come up yesterday with a testimony. He said, "No, this is how Jake come up. I got a question."
Oh,
Jake
that's
never
it.
got him.
This
motherfucking
never-
question.
that's
never a
You got a statement.
Yeah.
Statement like motherfucker. He gave a testimony. He said, "Yeah, I've been seeing all these apparitions, and I seen a dragon this high." And we was like, "Okay."
They said, "How is that building?
Yeah,
That big
yeah,
green building?"
that
Yeah.
building.
Oh, man.
So my question to him was, "Okay, now what?"
Right.
You know what I mean?
He was
Like,
like, land the plane. Like, where is this going to?
Yeah.
Jake doesn't understand. The goal for us, man, is salvation.
Exactly.
And the kingdom of heaven to be established on the earth. Righteousness to go forward. None of that shit they're talking about leads to that.
It don't lead to it.
You said a dragon is high.
I don't know what the fuck he was talking about. He might have had mental, he had mental problems, but he was just like, come on, man.
Or he might have seen it. You know what I'm saying? He might have seen it. But niggas, okay, now where are you gonna go next?
Now what? I said, we're having a class session. Okay, how is that going to help the body
Right.
get to the goal, which is salvation?
This
Right.
is this dragon inside of a building. Jacob cries crazy. Mind boggled the whole rest of the day. Bro. Salaki, bro.
No, you're fine. That was it. But it's just to show you that our people, they don't have a direction. They don't have a vision. And the scriptures say where there's no vision, the people what? They perish. That's why 2/3 of our people, they gonna perish. They don't even understand what the mission even is.
Right.
They don't know what the fuck going on.
If the conversation get too serious, Jake kind of want to change the topic.
Yeah.
You start talking about so-called real deep things that matter. Jake want to switch gears and talk about bullshit. Who going to the Super Bowl? Kendrick Lamar performing.
Like a damn woman.
You know?
Because the women, they don't want to talk, they just want to have fun.
They don't
So
want
talk
to
to
do reality.
an Israelite man like, hey, you got to fucking change and be accountable for this. We're in this situation because of this. This is how we get back. It's kind of like, oh man, you know, here you go, that bullshit. All right, well, nigga, that's why you miss them.
That's exactly
why you going down.
That's right. That's right. And that's why the remnant is so important, because again, you leave Jake to their devices. That's going to be the end all be all of the conversation. Who's better? You know what I'm saying? LeBron or Jordan? You know, that's going to be it. You know?
Esau would turn us into avatars. You know, if he was able to chip all of Jake, he'll just have us on the damn controller all day. That's what that would be our end.
Yeah.
We'll just be like little people that he play with on the game and stuff.
Have to eat Cheetos, all that.
Yeah.
I got the scripture.
Come on, shout out.
You still got Ecclesiastes 4, huh?
Yeah, was it more on that?
Yeah, we got to come back to that.
Yeah. He was just showing.
I just want to get it.
Okay. Yeah, he gonna finish his, and then we can finish up on yours.
This is Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. And our people reject knowledge, man. They don't even want to try to learn things like I was saying. You know, it says, I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy power, I will also forget thy children. Our people don't want to come to recognize how to determine what's right and what's wrong. They want to establish it according to what makes them feel good, according to the flesh. One more verse. As they were increased, so they sinned against me. Therefore will I change their glory into shame. And our people at the end of the day, they're just shameful, man, because they don't have a standard. They don't have a backbone. They don't stand up for anything that's right. You know?
And to get to fix that, you to come up out of that spirit, one, you got to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Okay? Everybody got a podcast, right?
You got to acknowledge you was wrong in the
Yeah,
first
you got to
place.
acknowledge you was wrong. You got to acknowledge that you ain't shit. Like,
Exactly.
I got to fix myself.
You
Our
get
people,
nice.
It's on me. It's on me.
it's on me. I'm the one that's fucking up.
Yep.
I got to change.
King David.
Our people never sit there and take accountability. Like, maybe I'm the common denominator in my life where everything's fucking up. Maybe it's me that needs to change.
Yep.
That's never the conclusion a nigga come to.
And the coach that didn't put him in, it's always something else. Go ahead. Salaki.
Yeah, no, it's all good. I was gonna say, and that's Jake for you, because ultimately, at the end of the day, that's repentance. You know, and that's something that a nigga cannot do is repent. You know, they don't hold themselves accountable. That's why, you know, Apostle Recall always brings it up. Our people got the spirit of the black women on them, because that's a lack of accountability.
I was just thinking the same
You
thing,
know?
bro.
Yeah.
The whole nation is in the spirit of a black woman collectively.
That's
It's
it.
emotional, don't want to have any accountability for what I did.
Right.
You know, they don't acknowledge their offense.
And they won't
That's
shut
right.
up.
And they won't shut
They
the hell
don't
up.
stop.
Right.
Yeah, they keep going, bro.
It's always something else why Jake can't get right.
Yeah.
And that's what the elect, that's what sets us apart. We acknowledge that we've offended and we've gone off against the Heavenly Father. And we're trying to wipe our slate clean, so to speak.
Right.
You know, that's why we make our bodies a living sacrifice, so on and so forth. You know, because we've acknowledged our offense.
That's right.
You know?
That's right. You better, yeah.
Okay.
I can probably go back. You know.
This is 1 Corinthians 3, here's a point.
Yeah,
19, it's an LT. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness to Yahweh Shemel Shai, as the scriptures say. He traps the wise in the snare of their own cleverness. And just like, you know, like what the priest is talking about, ultimately Jake has what's called like an age regression syndrome. Jake doesn't really want to grow up.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, you know, there's nothing wrong with, certain, older age, you wearing certain stuff, but it's the mentality that comes along with it. Right? When you're trying to approve or when you're trying to, even have a whole conversation with Jake. Jake's attention span is like a child.
Yes, like a child.
Right? So it's like, this is what we're dealing with ultimately, And so this is why the Lord said, ultimately, like how you brought out, the gentleman had gray beard who was talking to you, right?
Yeah.
But it does not matter at the end of the day. It's the spirit.
And you look at black culture. You look at young kids, they always say, oh, my big homie or my OG.
Yo.
The older nigga that's supposed to be showing you that, hey, you doing some bullshit right now, they always condone this younger generation of bullshit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just what's the term you call
Age
it?
regression syndrome.
Yeah.
And I'm a grown man. I ain't got no goddamn
Big homie.
Now I respect like the order of
You have
this thing of ours, but we ain't,
Yeah,
like,
what the
nah.
fuck? Hold on.
No.
Like it's just it's so strange, and you don't see that in amongst any other people but our people.
Right.
Yeah, the degeneracy, man. Bro, LeBron, LeBron James, right? You always got something to tweet about. You had
Big meat.
you said Big Meech just got out of jail.
Why would you associate yourself
Why
with
would you
a criminal?
Bro, nigga's clearly a criminal, bro.
They acting like he Nelson Mandela or something.
Right.
Them niggas Big Meech, bro.
How did this nigga?
The Black Mafia family?
Popping bottles.
Like we done made it so far. Big Meech got free. A lot of y'all might not know who Big Meech is. You know what I'm saying? Man, you watch BMF, you don't know, but this nigga in the early 2000s, bro, like Jeezy, Gucci, you know what I'm saying? These niggas all involved type shit.
He's a drug kingpin.
The fucking drug kingpin. A mafia head, bro. Pretty
What
much.
is going on? And that's Romans 1 at the bottom where it lists off all those degenerate characteristics, and it says, and they glory in them that do the same.
Right.
They champion that shit in black.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Pride, you know what I'm saying? Loose paraphrasing, they wear it like a chain.
Yeah, like
They pass it like a chain. It's like sport.
Right.
I've been in the pen 3 times, nigga. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I gotta-
But you LeBron James, multi-billionaire. You got so much influence with the youth and everything. You out there free big, not free big. I'm glad he's free, man.
Yo,
Why are you kidding me?
Why not big up like an Israelite that's a surgeon?
Exactly.
Or like just got his certification to become a pilot. Like
Right.
something that's highly esteemed. You know?
And
That's honorable.
Right. And this is why we made that statement yesterday. All the people, all the Israelites that people look up to, none of them are involved in anything serious.
Right.
LeBron James is a so-called billionaire, but that gift destroyed his heart.
Right.
To where he's not gonna sit here and do anything that threatens the enemy.
That's right.
You know, he's a rag doll for the elites.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read that for you. Ecclesiastes 4. I'll read it for you. This Ecclesiastes that you had some.
Go ahead.
This Ecclesiastes 4:1. It says, "So I returned and considered all the oppressions that are done under the sun. And behold, the tears of such as were oppressed, and they had no comforter. And on the side of their oppressors there was no power." So like there was power, but they had no comfort. "Wherefore I praise the dead, which are already dead, more than the living, which are yet alive. Yeah, better is he than both, which have not yet been, who have not seen the evil work that is done under the sun." Better to be in the spiritual realm.
Right.
Continuing on. Just keep reading down.
Well, the point was in verse 1
Okay.
that I wanted, but the spirit had to be brought out again.
Yeah.
Because you see a comfortless people, bro. Like the fact that you happy Big Meech came back from jail and you putting it out there, that's clearly shows you that you don't have comfort in heavenly things.
Right.
Yeah.
You leave it to Jake and they'll continue to this whole status quo, this reality of what we see right now will continue. But after
Like
your
you were saying
precept,
last night too, Salaki, they're in that free Barabbas spirit.
Yeah,
People are in-
I did a lesson on that 2 days
You
ago.
know what I'm saying? They're
Yep.
ashamed of the testimony and gospel of Yahweh Shai,
Mhm.
But they're in
Yep.
that free Barabbas spirit, instead of being advocates for us even, you
Right.
know? You ain't big up in us, LeBron.
At all.
We on the front lines doing something that's gonna benefit you eventually too.
This benefits the whole nation.
The whole nation.
This leads to immortality.
Exactly.
Oh,
But
wait.
Sure, just wait to see
they're in that free Barabbas spirit, man. Y'all wanna see us get crucified.
Got a quick one for you.
Go ahead.
Proverbs 17:15, free Barabbas spirit. This is exactly what happened. He that justifieth the wicked and condemneth the just, even they are both an abomination unto the Lord. And that's exactly what happened. Barabbas was freed. He's a criminal.
Exactly.
Yahweh Shai, which we come in the state of Yahweh Shai instead, it's being tossed to the side, and they rather welcome the degeneracy.
Exactly. That's exactly the point, man.
Sheesh.
They'll frown upon the people that are standing up or say, "Hey, this is what our true heritage. This is
Right.
who we are." But you say free Barabbas, man. When the scriptures say a righteous man is going to abstain from all appearance of evil.
And an example of that, we're going back to LeBron, what he did to Kyrie for making that post or whatever.
Yeah.
That's
They
funny.
crucified him.
That's funny. That's coincidental.
Yeah.
LeBron came out openly and was like saying like, man, he shouldn't be doing
Shouldn't
that.
do that.
He like basically saying you pushing hate or whatever the case. I'm not quoting him.
Anti-Semitism.
But that shows the free Barabbas spirit though.
That's
Now
it.
he talking about free Big Meech.
Mhm.
So he is not a nigga to be acknowledged or
No,
looked
no.
up to.
Absolutely.
You can't
not.
tell our people that because
Yeah.
they think gain is godliness.
Right. And he's their king.
Yeah.
King James.
Shit, who cares?
He's their goat.
That's wild, bro.
Did you had something you was holding in the
Nah,
other account?
we can go back to what we was gonna go to.
Okay, well I have an account here in Acts 17 just to show that spirit has always been on the earth. And our forefathers, the Apostle Paul and the rest of those men had to deal with it. So this is something that we see and we got to deal with it today. But this is the book of Acts, the 17th chapter. And I'm going to start at verse 17, and I'm going to read down. But it says, therefore disputed he in the synagogues with the Jews and with devout persons, and in the markets daily with them that met with him. So he's constantly have to deal with people, you know, Israelites that knew they were Israelites that was going off, people that were sincere, people with jacked up philosophies. People talked about Edomites that came here because their moon died. You know what I'm saying? You know that argument was back then in some type of way. You know what I'm saying? You know, because it all ties back to other gods they worship and shit. You know, but it says this in verse 18. Then certain philosophers of the Epicureans, which, you know, do you brothers know who the Epicureans are?
No. Yeah, they were the ones that like to kick it and party, right?
That's exactly it. You can read about it in Acts where you had the Stoics and the Epicureans there. And you know, pretty much both of the groups were preached to, but you had those that were the Stoics that actually repented, a lot of them, and they came to the fold. But the Epicureans, like the brother broke down, were they that was in that party, let's all get wasted spirit. You know, what we see right now in this world.
Were they like hedonists?
So what?
Hedonists?
Headiness.
Like hedonistic people. That's what they were?
Oh, I don't even know.
Like a hedon, like they just give into pleasures.
Yeah, giving the pleasures.
Yeah,
That's exactly it.
Shit like that. Stoics was strictly about.
It was serious.
Yeah. They were about not, yeah.
No, you got it.
Yeah, whatever they were locked in at, that's what they were locked in at.
Stoics and that was the better. Okay.
That was the balance, you know.
So they were a religious group, or they were just
Well, that was just the name. That was a name. I don't know if that was a name that they went by or what they were labeled as by other people. You know, but you read that account in Acts, it goes into the Stoics and the Epicureans. And both of them, it ain't like both of them were in a great light in, you know, in the eyes of the Lord. You know, they have their portions in the scriptures where they're written about. You know, but ultimately you have those two groups within this account. You know, this account here. But it says, and they took them in, verse 18, and the certain philosophers of the Epicureans and of the Stoics encountered him. And some said, what would this babbler say? Others, some, he seemed to be a setter forth of strange gods. And that's how people look at us on the highways. You have people that actually have locked in mindsets on whatever they're locked in at, and they might come and they might listen and ask questions, or they might scoff, you know. But you have people that are like that with that locked in mentality versus the people that walk by the camp and just, yeah, dang, y'all are crazy, and screaming out loud, you know. You guys need to start having fun. You know, I remember, man, Kadar, the elder Kadar, he gonna remember it, and Shafal gonna remember it too, but we out there preaching, and one jacked up, you know, one Issacharite came up in a fallish mindset, and we was locked in serious mode, and he's just on some folly. And I was like, man, you need to get up the street then, man. He was like, man, this guy needs some buns in his life. You know, pretty much like, man, you need to go and get some pussy. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I mean, hey, it is what it is. You know, it was funny. Brothers laughed at it like, but that's just where people's mindsets are. Like, they see somebody in a serious setting, you know, actually going into something serious, and the first thing they need is, man, you need to just bust a nut, man. Sheesh. You know, it's like, damn. But that spirit, just going into the example of how we see both of these spirits come to us, that's where I can. You see people in Stoicism, people in an Epicurean spirit, but you got people that are going to come into the fold out of both groups, you know?
Can I read this definition for you?
Yeah, please.
This hedonist, so this is what the Epicureans were, basically. It says a hedonist is someone who prioritizes pleasure over other values in their life, actions and thoughts. So the pleasure basically becomes their God, which is like the elder said, that's everybody. Yeah.
That's right. God, the water. It says, then certain philosophers of the Epicureans and of the Stoics encountered him. You know, so even the Epicureans, do as thou wilt. That's a philosophy that's followed, but that's a philosophy that says, do whatever the hell you want to do. Live your life. That's some Aleister Crowley shit. You know? Yeah, just do it. You know? So it's a philosophy. That's crazy that party lifestyle is a philosophy that people follow. You know? But it says, and some said, what will this babbler say? Talking about the Apostle Paul. Others some, he seemed to be a setter forth of strange gods, because he preached unto them Yahushua and the resurrection. Verse 19, and they took him and brought him to Areopagus, saying, that's it, that's right. Areopagus is translated Mars Hill. Aero, you know, that's Ares. You know, Areopolis, Pagus, that goes into mountain or hill. You know, so the hill of Mars. It says, saying, may we know what this new doctrine whereof thou speakest is. So now they like, man, we're going to bring him up to Mars Hill because he got some other new stuff that he's teaching. You know, and that was the flavor that, you know, Jake wanted to hear a little bit because this resurrection from the dead. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, Jake was interested in hearing that. Certain people were
entertained by certain things.
Right, right. It says, verse 20, for this, Salakia, for thou bringest certain strange things to our ears. We would know thereof what these things mean. For all the Athenians and strangers, which we know who the strangers actually are, they're Jakes, and strangers that were there spent their time in nothing else. So it was just up there, just at the barbershop conversation. That's what they would go to. All right, what new God are we going to learn about right now? What new God are we going to learn about now? So it's dope how the Spirit had it work where that curiosity that they had actually ended up bringing them to want to hear about Yahweh Shai. Because certain of them were delivered after hearing that and actually went on to the church, which what this is going to say, but certain of them they had itching ears, so they wanted to continue to hear about, that moon god and shit, But it says, but either to tell or either to hear a new thing. Then Paul stood in the midst of Mars Hill, which is Areopagus, and said, ye men of Athens, I perceive that in all things ye are too superstitious. And that's been Jake's MO. That's why we're in captivity right now. It's because Jake is too damn superstitious. Nigga came up and said, I got a question, and talked about this dragon he saw the size of a building at camp yesterday. That's superstitious, man. Even though he could have seen it, but like you so into yourself and what you want to go through, it's like the bigger picture has completely lost your mind. It's too much Jake is involved in right now.
Which I get a brief.
Yeah, come.
2 Timothy 4:3, it says, for the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. So our people have itching ears. They always on to the next new big bright breakdown or whatever, or philosophy, or so-called knowledge, but not really coming into the fullness of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai concerning the resurrection, the kingdom of heaven, salvation for the elect,
What holds us in from being on that here and there spirit is the prophecies.
Right.
Let me read this for you. 2 Peter 1:18. We also have a more sure word of prophecy, whereunto ye do well that ye take heed, as unto a light that shineth in the dark place, until the day dawn, and the day star rises in the heart. So, us being in captivity, going through all these different stresses and different things like that, we have a solid ground to stand on because we know, okay, this is what's supposed to happen. Regardless of how I feel, what I'm going through, this is what the Lord has said is going to play out in the earth. Jake doesn't have a sure direction or a sure ground to stand on, something to look for to play out.
Right. So
anything can be spun to them. Yep. They can be lied to. Part of the reason the elect don't get deceived, when you go to Matthew 24th chapter, it says if it were possible they would deceive the very elect. Part of the reason they don't get deceived is because they know the prophecies. So like Esau can't come to them with some bullshit because they're going to be like, oh no, the Lord said this.
Hey, I gotta get the word itching. In the Greek it says natho, and it says desirous of hearing something pleasant.
Yeah.
If they want to hear it will feel good, man. Smooth things.
Yeah, smooth things. And that's why I love how the Apostle Paul used Yahweh Shai's his resurrection to really get them going, because that was strange to them. Like, oh snap, dude raised from the dead? Yeah, I need to hear about this. So he used the mysticism aspect of the scriptures to really get those guys, like, some of them wondering.
That's kind of like God, though. Paul, he was bad.
He was good at using that,
He knew based on how their spirit was, how to come to preach Yahweh Shai.
These cats gonna love here.
They gonna think it's some mysticism and all that.
Exactly. He brought out the esoteric essence in the sense in the scriptures.
He probably came to him and said, I got a message on how you achieve immortality.
Yeah, bro.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
But he was going in though, so
and it's backed by scripture.
It's true though.
You know what I'm saying? It's a true testimony. And in a sense, that's kind of how I know myself personally. I like the animes and the comics and stuff like that. So when Jake started talking about the spiritual power and the flying, man, I'm like, oh snap, I need to hear this. I never knew this was in the Bible.
This okay.
I
always knew.
I
always knew it was something.
That's crazy. It's like even when we just like we I'm sure brothers can even attest to that times when came in new and maybe talked to a family or something. You use that kind of sensationalism, somewhat, in the scriptures of a topic or something, spiritual power or something like that, and just to test them to see if they're gonna buy it. Jake likes that. Oh, wait a minute, what did you say? That's what I mean? You just start talking about the throne of David, this and that. Jake just get to yawning. So you use certain things to kind of reel them in.
That's right.
And then just see if the spirit is rocking, and you know, and then if they still there, and a lot of times they'll just kind of dwindle away. But that's the spirit. You say that because we've all done that. I know.
Bro, I remember, bro, when me and Tazama was on the other side coming to the Tuesday camp, bro, and Jake brought out Leviathan. I've never heard of a Leviathan in my life at this time. You know, so we like, hold on, Leviathan, and that changed the whole setting of camp pretty much. Like, they spent the last 30, 40 minutes talking about Leviathan, and our minds just blown. You know what I'm saying? Brothers bringing out precepts, and we like, yo, like we never knew about Leviathan. Like, out of all the footage and videos we was watching when we came out to the camp, that was one that we missed. Wow. You know, so we learned about Leviathan, like, oh snap, you know, but it opened us up to wanting to hear it. You know what I mean? So just as a quick little personal testimony with that.
Hey, so I wanted to, you said superstition on Acts 17:22. I want to get that definition real quick.
You gotta speak up in this camera. I don't have my contact.
I'll raise my voice. So this is the definition for superstition. It says a belief. Let me back know what you said, a belief or a practice resulting from ignorance, fear of the unknown, trust in magic or chance, or a false conception of causation.
And that's what they were into. It was the unknown. On Mars Hill, that's, you know, and it's going to say as I continue to read when brothers get done, but that's what they wanted, that unknown, esoteric, secret knowledge, when it's all within the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? You can get this understanding, it's still going to be a secret to the world because they're not going to get it. You know, but Jake always wants the new thing. You know what I'm saying? The new flavor. They want to hear something new. You know? You got a binocular.
It says, the rational, abject attitude of mind toward the supernatural nature of God resulting from superstition. A notion maintaining despite evidence to the contrary. Right? And the evidence is the scriptures.
That's right.
Right? Whether you give it to them, whether they believe it or not, of course that's the word of God by Chanel Shot, but they want to believe on other things, other than the proof, the evidence that's in the book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, straight up. That was it?
That was it.
Come on.
And the evidence is everything you see out here every day.
That's it.
The creation itself is the evidence.
That's it. Facts.
It's everywhere, bro. You got it up.
Nah, and Jake don't appreciate. That's not enough for Jake.
No.
The fact that you have a ball, you have orbs floating in the sky.
It's its own shit.
It's
just in the air.
It's just in the air. Yeah, and you need that in order to live right there. If none of that existed, you'd be dead. You know, that's too much for Jake right there. That's not enough for Jake right there. The fact that you see this every day.
And it just so happens to be in the perfect spot for the planet to orbit around you.
Right.
Like that doesn't dawn on you like, this all looks like somebody did this on purpose.
Yeah, right. Yeah, man. It's crazy, man. You know, but that's Jake for you. That's Jake for you, man. You know. Any more points or anything, brothers? No, I can do this on this verse right here. Cool. All right. So this is back in Acts chapter 17, verse 22. And it says, Then Paul stood in the midst of Mars Hill and said, Ye men of Athens, I perceive that in all things ye are too superstitious. And these are these Greeks, these Jakes that was Greeks. You know, so Athenians were Greeks, but it said strangers in the previous verse, just to show you that these are actually Israelites. Verse 23, For as I passed by and beheld your devotions, I found an altar with the inscription, To the unknown God, whom therefore ye ignorantly worship him, declare I unto you. So it's an unknown God, and that same unknown God spirit, that agnostic spirit, you know, in today's day and age, that would be considered agnostic. You know, you see that spirit very prominent here in the earth today. You know, case in point, what fueled this lesson of the story the brother said about his job. It's like, damn, you know, Jake is truly gone, and all of us were there at a point in time. I know, shit, I didn't have my fair share of bugged out stuff before coming into this knowledge that I believed. You know what I'm saying? But that's what Jake likes. They like to hear stuff like that. It gets them tingling for some weird reason. It gets the people going. Yeah, it gets the people going. You know, but it leads them to destruction. You know, hey, the scriptures say it. Broad is the way which leadeth up to death. You know, and that's definitely a broad way that it was being led up there. You know, so it's beautiful how the Lord used the Apostle Paul to go up there, go into the resurrection. And when you continue to read it, it says, The Most High that made the world and all therein, seeing that he is the Lord of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands. Neither is worship with men's hands as though he needed anything, meaning that he wasn't created. He wasn't a God that was created like the Buddha statue or all the other stuff. You know what I'm saying? He didn't need none of that. Look at these idols, they had to create it and set it there and give a whole folklore tale behind it and say why it needs to be worshipped. The Lord don't got to do that, man. You got the sun, moon, and the stars. Nigga, you breathing.
He's the Ancient of Days.
Yeah.
Meaning he's outside of time.
Right. Right. He
Yeah.
created the celestial bodies,
Yeah.
bro. There's nothing holding that up. His work speaks for itself, like the elder just said. You know, that he didn't have to be created. He's the one that did the creating. That's doing the creating. You know? But when you continue, the last final point of it, it says, neither is worship with men's hands as though he needed anything, seeing he giveth to all life and breath and all things. You know, so that's more than sufficient for a believer to know. Hey, he exists. The fact that we're here and able to actually cognitively, present his word. That shows he exists within itself. You know?
And that shouldn't be a hard thing to comprehend, but again, this ain't like Elder Yatsuzak always says, the Bible's for the prophets.
Right.
Okay, so that's not for everybody to get. So the fact that we've been given this knowledge, it's otherworldly. These people are of the earth, man. They're of below. Like how Shah said, we've been given something that's outside of this realm.
Right.
We've been given divine and heavenly knowledge, and you know, it's not for everybody to get. So them free Barabbas niggas, they supposed to be in that spirit. They supposed to die here. They supposed to irritate us with their bullshit ass stories at work. It's just they lie. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Shit. It's
That's
annoying.
Right.
But that's their lie. And the scriptures talk about it being their lie. So.
Because in the midst of that, you have elect that's going to wake up. You know, they're, like you said, they're presenting their, you know, at the end of the day, they're fulfilling their lives.
Yeah.
And you have elect that's going to wake up, which is a miracle that they've woken up out of that.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah, solid points.
I got one real quick.
Not
This is
good.
one back on your point. This is Amos chapter 3, verse 7. Surely the Lord Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, that power, would do nothing, but he revealed his secrets unto the servants of prophets. So just laying back off your point, this whole book, when you think about it, I'm pretty sure every Jake, you know what I'm saying, they mother, grandmother, that got the Bible open up, but none of them understand it because it wasn't given unto them to understand it. But the prophet is just going to your point.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like, y'all seen that movie Da Vinci Code?
Yeah.
Some of it.
Right? I ain't seen it yet. It's like a bunch of people could see, like, you know, the doctor. I was like, a bunch of people have seen the Declaration of Independence and all that, but he had to put the lemon juice over it to actually to see the true message of what was being said. It's not for everybody. Matthew the 13th chapter, for it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven. So, you know, there's things that are plainly said in the scriptures, and we all get it like that. Yep. But you can read it to somebody, and they'll be like, no, that ain't say that. It's like, damn, what else could it be saying?
Right.
America's not in the Bible.
America. The niggas gonna say America, we wouldn't even have a book. If we said America,
Exactly.
you goofy ass nigga.
Like, dang, why you want to blow up the spot so bad, man? It's a good thing it don't say
But the
it.
nigga that said, they don't say America, it's
Come
because
on,
he love
bro.
it here.
It don't say no American in the Bible, bro, like that.
Yeah, it's because they love it here. The nigga that said, you don't say that. Bro, that's a nigga, you seen the movie The Matrix, that's a nigga that's plugged in.
Yeah.
Fuck that nigga.
That's a nigga with a MAGA hat on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was you there, Camp, the afternoon camp that day where Jake came up with that MAGA
I don't think
hat?
I was there. I don't
Oh
remember
man,
that.
yeah, you
I don't
remember that.
that.
It was hilarious, man. You know, we played with him a little bit and kind of like, bro, you tripping. But yeah, that Jake with a MAGA hat, man. You know?
Jake is okay with America as long as they can find a way to be successful here.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to see this place destroyed. If they can find a way to be successful here,
Yeah.
they cool. We always use that analogy that they don't want the bakery, which the Lord promises. They want a piece of the pie.
They want a piece of the pie, that's right.
They don't know that we get the bakery.
Mm-hmm. They fighting over the pie.
Over the slice of pie that Esau spit on.
Yeah, yeah. Damn, bro, they fighting over the nigga pies.
I got a pretty.
Okay.
Romans 11:7, it says, what then Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blind. So our people, they're not getting what they're seeking for. Ultimately, they're left wanting if you don't have the truth. You know, you're left lacking. You know, because it's all different types of knowledge out there where you can get something from. But the Bible, the prophecies, that stands the test of time. You got to put that over any knowledge. And if you're going outside of the knowledge of the scriptures, you're going to be wanting. You're going to be lacking, it's just going to be a lot of what ifs in your mind, which to us, that don't exist anymore, man. That's when even when you read in Psalm 73, Asaph said, when I went into the tabernacle of the Most High, then I understood the end, you know? So we understand the end game. like these questions that Jake have about like what happened after you die, like just certain things, you know, through the scriptures we understand it clearly, you know.
I got a preacher, if you don't mind. This is Sirach chapter 39 and verse 24. It says, as his ways are plain unto the holy, so are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked. All right, so, you know, as Chris was going into you, with us being revealed the true knowledge, all right, this wisdom and knowledge and understanding, it's so clear to us now. Like everything just makes sense. Everything is coming together like a piece of pie. Well, for everybody else, it looked like it got scattered even more.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So for us, it's plain. It just makes perfect sense because the Lord revealed it to us.
Yeah.
As far as everybody else, they're going to continue being, as you saying that one time, just looking for answers. Yep. All right, following every other God or everything that, you know, like the preacher said, give that little tingling feeling on the inside, just so they can feel good about themselves. All right, which is really there's to the conclusion. There is no conclusion for them. For us, we know the end game.
Right.
Them, they don't know the end game. Therefore, they're going to be basically lost and still be looking for answers ultimately until they die.
And we understand that the Lord have them in that situation like that. Like I just read, they were blinded.
Yeah.
They don't even understand the fact that the Most High has certain people that He just doesn't want to get certain things, man.
Yeah.
Did you read 2 Corinthians 4 and 4? Is that what you just read?
I read Timothy earlier.
Oh, you got that?
I got it right here.
You might
Start
get
at 3.
Chapter 3, yeah, this is 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 3. It says, but if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost.
It is hid to them that are lost. Again, when the Lord set this whole thing up, everybody got a part. They got casted in a role. Majority of our people, they got casted as 2/3. And that gives you so much peace when you get this truth, because you're still gonna be vexed from day to day with the conversation with you.
Yeah, you gonna be.
But it gives you peace at work when a nigga telling you that Edomice's moon died.
Yeah.
It's like you do that, you be like, oh, okay, I know what your part is.
Yeah.
And you go about your day.
It's like better him than me.
And we were talking code around the 2/3 too. We could be
Right.
talking about the 2/3 now, the
It's like
2/3,
we speak
and
a whole
then
other
they don't
language.
even understand it. So it's just this thing goes way
Bro,
over their head.
if we were just to speak using the terms that we know around people, then it would really sound like we're speaking a whole
We can
other
talk
language.
about the 2/3 in front of the 2/3.
Bro, when you say con at work on accident, especially if you the con with the 5 A's,
Yeah.
and then your mind like, fuck, I didn't mean to say con.
And
And they just continue to go.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
It's like they didn't hear it. It's like the Lord bleeped you out for a second.
That happens to me every time I
All
say
the
con
time.
on accident too.
Yeah.
I be like, con.
I said the water.
Yeah, you said
I
like the water a few
They
times.
should be like,
Yeah, bro. That's
It
funny.
must be some new slang the kids say.
Yeah, right.
Fuck it.
They never catch it, bro.
You got verse 4?
Yeah, I got verse 4. I'm gonna read 3 again though. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 4, verse 3. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world hath blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Mashiach, who is the image of the power, should shine unto them.
Right, so the God of this world, all right, the wicked, with their philosophy and wine that they push, they completely screwed the minds of the people. Y'all know those images they used to show you as a kid, but that image, it had different drawings, pictures, that one same image seemed like you see an old lady or a young lady. Right? They're seeing the old lady. And we're like, no, it's a young lady right there. You see it? They just can't, they don't have the eyesight to see what we're seeing. Even though we're looking at the same thing, they looking at the same America we looking at. They looking at the same Edomites we looking at. They just can't see that this nigga the devil. We like, how could you not see this nigga
right
evil?
there. You don't see
You
it.
don't
It's like
see
that
it.
movie They Live. I don't know
Yeah.
if y'all seen
Yeah,
it.
That one good.
You better have a Scopeo.
If y'all can watch that movie, if you haven't seen it, to the listeners,
That's a
it's
classic.
nice if you haven't seen it.
Right.
The movie They Live, it basically was going into the wicked and ruler. And it was like the only way you could see who the wicked was is if you put on the shades, if you put on the eyeshadow.
Right.
And it had a Edomite looking blue dude as the main character.
Right.
Him and Jake, he had to beat that Jake half to death.
That's what I was gonna suggest.
Put
Pull up
the
that
damn
scene
shades
later.
on.
You need to put up that classic fight scene.
Yeah.
But they had a fucking knockdown,
They was
drag
beating
out,
their ass.
like
It's like
crawl.
a 10-minute scene
Just fun.
of him beating that motherfucker. Put the glasses
They
on.
was kicking each other's ass
They was
too.
kicking each
Yeah,
other's
yeah,
ass.
yeah.
Fucked each other up, bro. Yup.
And when Jake finally put the glasses on, he was
Yeah.
oh shit.
Yeah, you can see it.
But see, look, man, you don't gotta be the person getting your ass whooped to put the glasses on.
Exactly.
The Lord got the prophets out here.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Just consider.
Yeah.
Just like-
Yeah, also the Lord gave those men a spiritual a spiritual invitation to come
That's
to the
it.
wedding.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
So now you got an invite to come to the spiritual wedding. Now you're being briefed on what's going on.
Yeah.
Just saying, be briefed on what's going on.
Yeah, it's to the point you shouldn't have to want to kick nobody ass if they don't get it. Like the elder, like the ancient elder said. You know, I believe it was High Priest Yaquat that said it. You know, if a nigga can't get it, we moving on. You know, we ain't gonna sit there and try to force you to get it and force the glasses on your face like homeboy did in the movie. You know, it was a great illustration though, and that's a great example that's being brought out. You know, because Jake is in front of them, they can't see it, but man, hey, if you don't get it, that's on you. The Lord don't want you to get it. You know, and I got a precept real quick. You know, did you have more on that one?
That was it.
Okay. This is 1 Corinthians chapter 1, and I'm going to start at verse 19 and read down, and jump down actually. But it says, matter of fact, I'm going to start at verse 8. It says, for the preaching of the cross to them that perish foolishness, but unto us which are saved, it is power of the Most High. Because the nigga don't want to hear about the preaching of the cross.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They'd rather hear about some other stuff that ain't going to benefit them. You know, they'd rather have that barbershop conversation, and they would have had a conversation about Big Meech and his first move he's gonna do when he get out of jail. You know,
We still got to connect.
yeah,
Like,
yeah, bro. Yeah, man, I wonder if he's gonna bring me. I heard it was yesterday a video clip of a bitch, a stripper bitch from Atlanta, like, ooh, Big Meech back. I'm finna tell him all these BMF niggas that they ain't tipping, and he gonna get on you niggas. It's just like, come on now, man. You know, preaching the cross to somebody like that is gonna be in vain. You know, they're not gonna get it. They're not gonna want to get it. They're gonna trample over them pearls you throwing at them.
Right.
You know, but it says when you continue, for it is written. Yeah, like what this bitch gonna do? You know, I'm gonna tell on y'all. Verse 19. For it is written, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise, and will bring to nothing the understanding of the prudent. So all these philosophies and doctrines that's out there, through this wisdom that we have, this true wisdom, it's going to be taken out of the way. Which is why we got the true connect. We're truly tapped in through the Holy Spirit. You know? Verse 20 says, where is the wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the disputer of the world? Hath not the Most High made foolish the wisdom of this world? And he's writing to the Corinthians because they was kind of being foolish a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Getting too involved in matters that they had no business getting involved with, being simple. So the Apostle Paul had to write this letter to them like, look, man, at the end of the day, they're going to perish in their wisdom. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's only going to take them so far. You got the true connect. You know? And when you continue, it says, for after that, in the wisdom of the Most High, the world by wisdom knew not the Most High. Like the point you brought up earlier, Bonsapat, we have the sun, the moon, and the stars. That was all made by his wisdom. And it's clearly his wisdom because it's floating. You know, ain't nothing that's holding it up. You know, breath and air, you can breathe it in and breathe it out. You know what I'm saying? But underwater, you know, a fish can absorb the water, and you know, it's the exact opposite. You know, and that can happen. That only shows and goes back to that there is a creator. You know? And it says, for after that in the wisdom of the Most High, the world by wisdom knew not the Most High. It pleased the Most High by the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. You know, so it's the foolishness of preaching, and not everybody's going to be able to receive it. That's why I was said earlier, when it comes to the cross being preached, hey, it's only somebody that really, truly respects this word and wants to know is going to truly, like, be grateful for it and understand it. You know, but a nigga that's out there floating around with his own doctrine, his own ideas, you know, that guy at your job, you try to tell him about the truth, he ain't going to want to get it. He's going to be suffice. He's going to be sufficient, I'd rather say, knowing that white people came here because they moon exploded. Yep. You know, that's going to be the end-all, be-all of his doctrine, and he's going to hold on to that, to the shoes, to the wheels fall off.
Well, I had asked him about the Bible the next day because he was catching me walk to the car for break. And I was like, he started talking to me. I was like, what do you think of the Bible? And he was like, oh, the Bible is just, you know, stories passed down, this and that, some of it real, some not. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, what about like the Israelites? I heard something about Israelites. What about Israelites? He was like, oh, no, that's just, you know, something, and it ain't really that, whatever. I was just looking at him like, wow, like, you don't know?
Yeah.
You know, like, you're in your own foolishness.
Mm-hmm. That's facts, bro.
They try to act like they know at the same time. It sounds like.
Right.
Yeah.
But that moon shit made sense, huh?
But the moon shit makes sense.
Exactly.
Oh man,
That shit makes sense though.
I guess.
What moon? Where was it at? What nebula was it? You know what I'm saying? What galaxy was this at?
When did this happen?
That nigga think Esau went to the moon for real.
Right.
Oh,
Exactly.
yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That nigga think the moon is the actual
Hey, the
alien.
video, like, you stupid.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna jump down to verse 26. it says, for you see your calling, brethren. All right, brethren. We clearly see our calling. That nigga ain't called, bro. You know what I'm saying? We clearly see it, bro.
Yeah.
It says, for you see your calling, brethren. For not many wise men after the flesh, you know, and in this world, grades are synonymous with wisdom in this world. You know what I'm saying? But in the eyes of the Lord, hey, you know what I'm saying? Shoot. You know, the wisdom of a man is like gray hair. So you don't have to have the gray hair to prove you wise. If the Spirit's on you, then that's that. You know, that's the gray hair, is the Spirit of the Lord. But it says, Salakia, not many mighty men, not many noble are called. But the Most High hath chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And the Most High hath chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. And this is the remnant right here. The remnant is the foolishness of this world. The preaching of Yahushua, us on the highways and the byways, preaching the word. 95% of the people that walk by were fools in their eyes. They don't stop, and some of them stop and ask questions, of course, as we all experience, but a lot of them in their mind, they're like, why waste my time doing that? You know what I'm saying? You see what these guys are talking about. You know, a man coming from the sky and this, that, and the third, and the Israelites. These people at that being the Israelites, God's chosen people, hell no. They don't want to hear that. Can't be. Yeah, it can't be. The Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, no, hell to the no.
It's broke.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Get a job, bro. They always say that. Get a job. So we're foolish in the side of the unwise.
Yeah.
You know, and we're fine with that because we get it. You know, we have the foresight. We have the vision. As you know, you brought up the precept earlier. You know, so hey, Lord willing, we don't perish as long as we stay on the right track. You know, but these people are on a fucking, excuse my French, but highway to hell. You know, because there's nothing within what they teach that's going to lead them to be saved. You know, that's why they're on the highway to hell, but there's no salvation in what they know and what they teach. You know, so you're going to stay in a condition that you're in, which is death. You know, nigga's sick. You know, a nigga that's talking about the moon and this, that, and the third, a nigga's still sick. You're still catching hell. You're still paying child support.
Still under the curse.
You're still under the curses, bro. So at the end of the day, that's going to lead you to death. That's not the way to salvation. You know, but Jake would rather have it so because what? They've made that covenant with death. You know, but ain't the Wadi Yahweh Shah for that small remnant. You know, because through the word, the testimony of the remnant, we're here in this room able to talk about the word, able to preach. You know, and that's through Yahweh Shah being resurrected. You know?
This is Romans chapter 11 and verse 7. And it reads, what then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for. But the election hath obtained it, and the rest were blinded. You know, just going into, you know, a clear separation that the Lord made between the elect, those he chose from the foundation of the earth. So in the Ephesians 1st chapter, and those he didn't choose, you know, the 2/3, you know, they're blinded. They can't see this thing. You know what I'm saying? Just brought out 1 Corinthians 4. You know what I'm saying? They're lost. You know what I'm saying? They're part of the lost, which I'll continue says, verse 8, according as it is written, the Most High hath given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear until this very day. So that's going on to this very day. Right now, we got the majority of our people can't see this thing, man. You know what I'm saying? And where is that written in Isaiah the 6th chapter, man? You know, and like the Khan mentioned, you know, Jake gonna be caught up in his folly and his madness until when? Which the Lord gave him the answer. Until the cities are destroyed, the desolation of this place, the destruction of America, man.
Because then they're going to cry, Lord, Lord, in that day.
Exactly.
Right.
But it shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Right.
And what's dope about that, when the cities are destroyed, that means all the infrastructure, this illusion of money, the American dream is gone. So what's holding them back from actually seeing?
Right.
The dainties, the
Exactly.
gifts,
The pleasure.
the pleasures of this life that carry. So I want to read this. Okay, I got
No, after you.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
you wrote a good
It's
point.
Sirach 13, I'm just get straight to it. In 23, when a rich man speaketh, every man holds his tongue and look what he saith, and extol it to the clouds. That illusion of money and success and being recognized and appreciated and having funds here, that completely ensnares our people to where they can't hear righteousness.
Right.
Continuing on, it says, but if a poor man speak, which the prophets are always going to be at a lower state, all right, it's necessary for us to be on fire for our mission. Not some brothers that have more than others, but generally speaking, we're going to have what we need, our daily bread. Right? But if a poor man speaketh, they say, what fellow is this? Who is this nigga?
Whose man is this?
Yeah, whose man is this? And if he stumble, they will help to overthrow him. So that's the mindset of our people, man. They can't actually hear righteousness because they're so blinded by their desires and the lust of the flesh. And we know in order to receive salvation, you got to separate from this flesh. You got to love not your own life unto death.
That's right.
That is what allows the elect to move the way the Lord requires them to. And they're not in a position to do that because they're so attached to this loner.
Right.
Okay, this body that we have is a loner. We got a whole nother body waiting for us. See?
That's right. A quick precept to back the point up that you made, and this is going into the destruction, you know, but it's going into the lead up of what they see and why they wasn't able to see the destruction. But this is Job chapter 2, verse 3. And it says, a fire devoureth before them, and behind them a flame burneth. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them. And when you go into that word Eden, it breaks down that word into paradise. So what they see in front of them is paradise, and they wonder at it. They're marveling at it right now. You know, that's the spirit that Jake is in, which is why they can't repent and, you know, turn from their ways because of the bedazzled lifestyle that's really, they fucked up still. They still jacked up, still hurt, still under the curses. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it's still a fucking beautiful lifestyle of what they see. They don't want America to go.
Yeah.
You know? But it says, the land is as the Garden of Eden before them, and behind them a desolate wilderness. All right? It says, behind them a desolate wilderness, yea, and nothing shall escape them. So everything in front of them is the glitz and the glamour, ooh, but they don't understand that there's a flaming fire that is approaching them at rapid speed that's getting ready to take them while they're not looking. You know, that made me bring that precept out for that point that you made. You know, their eyes are set upon the fucking illusion that's out here. You know, and really, you're getting ready to die soon. And that's part of this message here, but they don't want to hear it because they don't believe it. You know?
So they look at us, they look at the elect sign and crying like, what the fuck y'all mad about? It's crazy. Y'all tripping, man. Esau said we gonna have technology where we could go up and fly cars and we gonna be able to merge with machines. What you talking about, man? What you mad about? We like, nigga, he's gonna make you a complete slave.
Right.
What you think he gonna do to you? You think you gonna have access to all that stuff?
Right.
It's gonna be certain nations that don't have access. If people able to complete his plan, it's gonna be people that don't have access to particular things.
Right.
Your chip bone, you gonna try to scan some, no access. He already do it. You can have decent credit, better credit than this Edomite, your Edomite counterpart. You don't get approved. You think it's gonna change?
Crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Make a brother want to side. Yeah, bro.
He said, I got this from a while back, we was on the house of Bible, but like Moses and Aaron told Israelites to consecrate themselves, the Lord can come and talk to them. And look at John 12, others heard an angel, but others heard
thunder.
And I was like, because the Lord is speaking now.
Yeah.
So they hear thunders when they
hear the message. Hey, and that was after a miracle. That was after Lazarus was raised from the dead. Yeah, when Lazarus was raised from the dead, there was a voice, and some of them heard the angels, some of them heard thunder. You know, that was right after a miracle took place, but they still couldn't hear it right.
So screw them niggas.
This is a miracle. Act 13 and 41. The old man told them to you.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I got that pretty quick.
Done.
Just laying back off of what you had brought out here. This is Hebrews 4:2. I want to get this in the Berean, the BSB, the Berean Standard Bible. It says, "For we also received the good news."
Hey, just before you wrap, just as a disclaimer for the listeners, man, you know, there's a lot of different versions out there, and they all hone in on certain points, but don't get too lost in the Kool-Aid, because a lot of those still go off sometimes. So I always put out there, like, you know, hey, let the King James be your foundation and learn from that. Then you can branch off and understand other points from the other ones. You know, because a lot of them do go off, you know, but a lot of them have some dope precepts too.
It's kind of like, you know, you learning to ride a bike. You don't start off doing the wheelie.
Right.
You start with the training wheelie.
Exactly.
When you get to a level where you can discern when and when not to do particular things, then you can branch off.
That's right.
So don't get too proud like you can just think you can just jump around.
Yeah.
Get a sure foundation first.
There you go. It's the Switzerland version right here, like House of what?
Get into that with Benaiah, you know, he goes heavy into the MSG. MSG. So it's like you're right, you know, ultimately the KJV is the foundation. Once you start to get seasoned, you kind of learn, you know, then you can kind of dabble in other, you know, different books. And like he says, a lot of breakdowns go off, but certain things they say the way they're worded.
It's
like, powerful, shoot. That's heavy.
So
you know?
what you're about to read obviously is going to be edifying, but in that same book, it'll talk about like all people being saved.
Exactly.
So but you got to know that God, that ain't how it goes.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of, you know, Straight out the bone.
Yeah, rightfully dividing the word of truth.
That's why I was just thinking. You gotta know how to like
There
wave
you
that
go.
sword. You gotta know how to swing that sword, man.
That's right.
It's your damn self.
Exactly.
Put your hand on.
There's Hebrews 4 and 2, and it reads, for we also received the good news just as they did, but the message they heard was of no value to them, since they did not share the fate of those who comprehended it. Right? So ultimately, what it boils down to, Ephesians 2 and 8, faith, which is a gift, and that brings us back to the terror of the Lord, man. Because though we come in here, we do our work, we do our videos, we go out on the highways and hedges, but we don't know if even we're the elect. You know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, that's the fear ultimately, which is a great motivator, you know, but having that faith, Abratazah, you know, we part of that number, but brothers, for all of us to be here on a Saturday afternoon where we could be, you know what I mean? Here we are reading the Bible. Come on, man.
That's
You
why
know?
that faith is so important, because to even fear the Lord, you gotta believe first.
There it is.
So you gotta have that gift of faith.
There it is.
So then you can fear the Lord,
Yep.
and then you can increase in the wisdom.
Yeah, and it takes humility to do that, because a nigga ain't gonna, and a nigga walk around, I don't fear nothing. You know what I'm saying? That I don't fear nothing.
Oh, so no, but nigga have to say, just fear God on their chest. That's
But won't even fear God.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
Do you really?
Yeah, it's just fucking just sounds good to them, man.
Yeah,
It's just a song to
Niggas
them.
want to look hard.
That's
It's
it.
a hashtag.
On that John Morant shit. If y'all know John Morant, the
Yeah,
hooper.
basketball
yeah,
Yeah, the basketball player.
Nigga
got
for
that-
It's the way
nigga
he's
for
not.
the Grizzlies.
Yeah, God, it's the way he says it is really funny. He, it was like a reporter that asked him. It was like, is there like anything that you like worry about? With like, it was something about dunking. He was like, I fear no one but God. Just like he just said.
You
It's
sound
just
like him too.
It's the way he said, I fear God. I was like,
But he don't even. They just say it.
Yeah, they just say it.
It's the sound
Yeah.
really correct, but they really don't.
yeah. So I
You
was
know?
like,
Because it's a whole spirit you have to have to really truly fear the Lord, bro. Like
Jake
it's
treats the
easy.
most high like the big homie.
Yeah.
When they say they fear God, they fear
Yeah,
Esau.
you do.
yeah.
They niggas need to put fear Esau on their chest.
A nigga will get that tattooed on his chest. Like you said, fear God on his chest tatted, but according to the scriptures, if you fear the Lord, you be like, hell no, I ain't getting no tattoos.
Yeah.
The scriptures say don't mark your flesh.
Right.
You know, Jake just don't fear the Lord at the end of the day, man. But you that barbershop conversation, that Aeropegus, unknown God mindset. You know, I mean, shit, the rabbit hole goes deep with those guys. You know, there's no limits. There's no standards. They'll continue to go far left. You know, that's just the reality of it, man. When you have the true understanding, there's a standard that you go by. There's a rule that the Apostle Paul talked about that we walk by. You know, walk you according to this rule. And if you do so, then you are the elect of the Most High. So there's a rule and guideline, these scriptures, that we have to follow. You know, it's of course one way to say, I believe in God. Yeah, I'm an Israelite.
Yeah.
You know those guys that come to the camp? Yeah, I know I'm an Israelite.
I've been knowing, a nigga tell you, I've been knowing since the 90s.
Yeah.
What the fuck you doing then?
Right. Yeah. But that's always an indicator right there to show that they're
Right,
true.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
if you was an Israelite, then you know what you need to be doing right now.
And you would know you shouldn't have told us that, because
Yeah.
now we looking at you crazy.
Exactly.
Jake think he gonna get credit, you know, from the Most High just by saying he knows.
Exactly.
Oh man, I know this. And I heard that. Yeah, I knew the name. Like
You don't,
that's gonna put him up on something.
you don't get the Hall of Fame jacket by knowing the nigga that was scoring the touchdowns.
Right. Yeah.
Like, nigga, what are we talking about?
Nigga, just because you lettered in high school don't mean that you can fucking coach somebody at a collegiate level on that. You know, that don't make no sense, bro.
I got
You lettered in high school. Yeah, you got it right. You're lettered.
Wisdom of Solomon chapter 3 and verse 9. They that put their trust in him shall understand the truth. All right, and trust is faith. All right, and you have to have fear of the Lord. If you believe in the Lord, you're going to fear the Lord. It says, they that put their trust in him shall understand the truth, and such as be faithful in love shall abide with him. For grace and mercy is to his saints, and he hath care for his elect. So ultimately, the Lord is going to bless his elect, all right, with the truth, with the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. All right, and people that's on the flip side of that coin, the 2/3 and the other Israelites that can't get it through the four corners of the earth, they're gonna be in verse 10, as it say, but the ungodly shall be punished according to their own imaginations, which have neglected the righteous and forsaken the Lord. How we spoke about earlier, how they're just pitting off Yahweh Shai, and how we're coming in that stead. They're putting us on the back burner. Y'all don't matter, or you this and that, or coming up with some other philosophy, doctrine, whatever imagination that has no meaning, no type of anything conducive to salvation.
Right.
It doesn't mean anything that their moon died. You know, it doesn't mean anything. All these other Anunnaki and we're gonna get December 15th. How that shit was going around. So all of these things don't mean anything. So the Lord just has His elect that He cares for, and they're predestined ultimately to not get it. But the Lord's like, that shit don't mean nothing. They're not doing anything profitable for me. But on the flip side, the prophets are sealing the elect, all right, as is prophesied to happen, which is threatening His kingdom, because ultimately, when the elect are sealed, Revelation chapter 7, when the elect are sealed, then those four winds are going to be let loose.
Right.
And that's the greatest thing you really could do right now. Fear the Lord, stack up faith, multiply your talents. That's really, but Jake got to do backflips and cartwheels. You know, it's not enough, you know.
That's right, brother. Solid point. Solid precept.
And just to add on to what you were saying, a new listener might be like, damn, they're talking about 2/3 of their people getting killed. You know, like, damn. But when you start to understand the scriptures, like you mentioned earlier, we realize 2/3 of our people are the same people that said crucify him, crucify him. And the same people that were murmuring in the wilderness. And the same people that were killing the prophets. They've stacked up a bill, not just in this life, but over time.
Right.
So this is just justice that they perish here on this side.
That's
And then,
right.
You know, death ain't even final.
Right. Yeah. And just to add to that too, I mean, you know, for a newer listener let's use that example, right? You know, okay, let's say you have a basic foundation of the Bible, like the Lord flooding the whole fucking planet Earth and only saving 8 souls and burning Sodom and Gomorrah up and only saving 3. You know what I'm saying? You know, Lot and his 2 daughters. Yeah. So you look at the 2/3 and it's like, man, that's a lot of mercy compared to what the Lord did before. So, hey, if that kind of bugs you out with 2/3, just look at the other things the Lord did that are way more terrible than just saving killing off 2/3 and saving a third. You know, Al-Shadia. So that's mercy like a mug that he's still allowing a large group of people, which is a third, a lot of people still, to be saved. Because before the Lord would literally only save a few, literally. You know, so if you heard about 2/3 dying, then you better read Genesis chapter 6. You know, you better read that. You know, because the Lord is going to be doing a lot of killing, and He showed before in the past.
And if you truly a believer and you love the Lord, you want His will to go forth.
Right.
So we hope that we're part of the elect that get saved. But regardless, even if I don't make it, I still want the plan to go forth. Righteousness got to come. You know what I mean? So everybody who says they're a believer should be advocating for the kingdom of heaven to be established. For this man to be taken out of power. Or America to be taken down. Because this is the epicenter, this is the main place that the elites use to push out their wine. So what we're saying is rubbing you the wrong way, man. Check yourself.
That's it.
The scriptures is not if you're a believer in the scriptures, you'll never be an advocate for America or any of these countries. You're going to be an advocate for the kingdom of heaven.
That's right. That's right. That's the demons bubbling up in you. You know, that's all that is. If you're getting irritated and getting annoyed at certain things that are being said, well, you know, that's that spiritual possession that you're dealing with, that demon reacting to it.
Right.
You know. Anybody got any closing points or precepts?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay.
Sirach 3:23, it says, "Be not curious in unnecessary matters, for more things are showed unto thee than men understand." It says, "For many are deceived by their own vain opinion, and an evil suspicion hath overthrown their judgment." And that's most of the 2/3, man. Well, that's all of the 2/3, man. With all these vain opinions, and an evil suspicion hath overthrown judgment, which makes them what? Reprobate.
Right.
All right. And it says, "Without eyes they shall want light." Without eyes they want light. So our people want to be enlightened, but the Most High didn't even give them the ability to be able to see.
Right.
It says, "Profess not the knowledge, therefore, that thou hast not." And that's exactly what Jake does. They profess things that they don't even know or sure about. Right. But like you quoted earlier, we have a more sure word of prophecy, so that's why we can approach the throne of grace boldly and tell you about, hey, we got the 100% truth we believe through the Spirit, at least as far as what's been revealed, you know, through the spirit of prophecy. So,
can I explain what that means?
Yep.
We have 100% truth concerning the things the Lord gave us to receive salvation.
That's it.
The scriptures say that the elect men will have the 100% truth.
Right.
Revelation, the 14th chapter, it tells you that they will have no guile in their mouth. Meaning no deceit in their words. Okay? I'm not saying we know what the inside of a chariot looks like.
Right.
Okay? But concerning salvation, the elect man, it has to be somebody having a full understanding on how to get to that point.
Yeah, we're not telling you we know rocket science. You know what I'm saying? And Jake, we say that, but we know rocket science. No, man, we just know the truth.
Right.
You know, and we'll tell you what we don't know. It's still the truth at the end of the day that we don't know certain things.
It was John the Revelator that he was told him certain things not to write.
Certain things not to write.
Right.
So, you know.
You know in part and prophesy in part.
That's right.
You know. So that's part of the 100% truth, is knowing that certain things is going to be revealed later at a later time.
That's right.
You know.
And the scriptures say we have an unction from the Lord.
You speaking a little bit?
The scriptures say that we have an unction from the Lord and we know all things. You know what I'm saying? Just like the Khan mentioned, that's talking about all things pertaining to salvation.
Right.
You know, not all things. There's some things that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that we obviously don't know.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
right.
saying?
Like the distance between the earth and the moon.
Exactly.
We don't know that.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to know.
Yeah, right.
You know
Yeah, exactly.
You know why they can do Jake? Because they don't know what the mission is.
Right.
If they understood the mission is salvation, nigga,
Right.
they would know we talking about salvation.
I don't know the square root of infinity, man.
Yeah, right.
I know that, man.
Yeah, you can't tell you how fast chariots go, bro.
Right.
But Jake get caught up in a lot of things they feel deep in. Oh, I know some shit. But the shit you be learning about has nothing to do with the mission.
Right.
Right.
You goofy ass niggas.
Bro, a nigga at your job that you explain him, he'll be able to start a call. He'll be able to start a following just based off saying that with the moon and everything like that.
Yeah, dude, the guy.
People want to hear that type of shit, bro.
She go last 3 weeks.
It's gonna yeah, he gonna tell him to drink the Kool-Aid too. They all right.
He gonna put on Nikes and feel himself.
Yeah, exactly.
You already got the security guard.
If it was left up to these niggas,
Yeah.
we'll be here
We'd
forever.
be here forever. We'd be in the winters another 40 years.
Wandering around, yep.
Just floating.
Man.
You know?
Even the Jake that's
Jake.
sorry, I'm slacking. Even the Jake that's like, oh, we gotta buy black, we gotta keep our money black. At the end of the day, you still within Esau's system.
Right.
They don't realize, no, nigga, the earth needs new management.
Right.
The people in rulership have to be pushed out of the way because of their unrighteous dealings, like I said in the Sirach 10 and 8.
Right.
Yeah.
They don't want to see that happen, so it's like, it's no talking to them.
Can't.
You ever talk to a nigga, you had a long conversation, and then he say some shit back to you, it was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. You didn't comprehend anything that was just said.
Yeah, bro. That's where we at with 230. Don't stop wasting your energy with niggas. If they're not getting it, bro, just save your energy.
I remember me and Tazavan, another test, quick one. Remember me and Tazavan Kalab, who used to be in the camp, you know, we all came in at the same time. And I remember Kalab was staying with his sister and her sister's husband. And we out there breaking the truth down to them and they getting it, they asking questions. We telling about pork, everything like that. It was about an hour and a half conversation and we felt good afterward, like, man, that's crazy, they getting it. And immediately afterward, his brother-in-law went to the fridge and said, y'all some hot dogs? We need some to cook some hot dogs. We just like, an hour and a half, bro. Like, we all three just looked at each other like, we my brother and collide.
The Lord have all of us go through that in the beginning of our walk, just so we can build up because you need a little frustration in this thing. You gotta get to a point where you're like, I'm tired of these niggas. The Lord wants us to be in that mind frame, because He in that mind frame. So He allow you to have those talks and those encounters where you like, what the fuck?
Yeah, smack your forehead.
Like, ain't no way. So the Lord, that's just the rite of passage. Because we can sit here and tell you all this. Don't tell your mama. Everybody,
You're gonna do it anyway. And experiment it.
Yeah, so because you think
you love them.
Because you think you think, oh no, they gonna get it. I know them.
Right.
I know them.
All right.
Yeah,
You with the Lord don't?
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
Can I bring out this last piece?
We can end it off on that.
This is Sirach 6.
You can break it down.
This is Sirach 6 and 36. If thou seest a man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him, and let thy foot wear out the steps of his door. I say that to say because the name of this lesson is the remnant are important, right? And then and for a lot of listeners out there tuning in, a lot of Akim and Akwat, you may have brothers that are in this truth, right? That are preaching this song, all right? And like we all have been very zealous in the very beginning. But if that is the case and you have a brother that you know of, you have to understand that the Lord is maybe dealing with that man. All right? It's very, very, very important to the powers of the heavens, man. And that man that may be in your family, right, has the keys, right, to salvation. So just don't be so quick to, to turn away or to scoff, because that's part of this ministry, right? So just if you have a brother that's in this truth, a cousin or friend or whatever, it may behoove you to bend an ear and listen, especially in the times that we're in, because the remnant are extremely important. All right, we've been given a charge to go out here to basically show you the way out. Right? So just keep that in mind, you know, having that understanding. The men of the Lord are extremely, extremely important, and that's going to be made more and more evident as we move towards the end of this kingdom.
Boom.
Just wanted to say that.
Message.
You gotta.
Done. Cool. Okay. Well, hey, Lord willing, that was edifying to the flock. We're going to end it off on that. We're going to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to
Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Kakadash.
We also want to give double honors to our apostles and elders, of course, as always, you know, and, you know, peace and salutations as well to you elect who are scattered throughout the four winds of this earth, fulfilling your lots in truth and all sincerity. Shalom.
Shalom.